the rundown. Hey, Stephanie.
Hi. Hey, Jonathan. Hey, welcome to my BBC.
All right, good. Hey, John. Yeah, so Stephanie,
You
you want
hearing me, right?
to
You hearing
yeah,
me?
I'm hearing you clear. I'm hearing you clear. With the
Yeah,
mic
my
in your
ruler.
hand and the ruler. That's okay. All right, so good. So Stephanie, we're here to talk about design thinking. First,
Yes.
give yourself a bit of an introduction.
Well, hello. My name is Stephanie Khan. I'm the owner of Can Connect You, and I'm also very honored to be a mentor and facilitator with YBTT. And I decided to start a webinar from three parts with focusing on design thinking because I've seen so many businesses going through some challenges and I really wanted to open it up to everyone. And you not only got the webinar where we sat for 2 hours in each session, so there are three parts, there are two more parts left. You actually got to have a one-on-one with me. So it wasn't just that you got the theory. In the one-on-ones, I showed you how to apply it to your specific challenges and your business and your industry. And the feedback that I've gotten from just the first session was it was necessary. It was needed. They knew that they had these challenges and they know design thinking because one or two of them actually went through our Jumpstart program, which is the flagship for YBTT, one of their flagship programs.
Stephanie, you're going too far. You're going too far. Let's ask you to introduce yourself and tell everybody
I
workshops.
know, and it is gone like a roller coaster.
Right. So I mean, before we go into the workshops, let's kind of set some foundation. So tell us a little bit about design thinking and what it really is.
Well, design thinking is a tool that a lot of big businesses use to actually put themselves in the shoes of your consumer, as we say, of the end user. What experience does the end user have, and what would guarantee a sale from the end user if we think about designing a whole experience, a whole process for them to go through to get our services and products?
Yeah, I think the tagline behind design thinking is human-centered design, right?
Yes.
It's designing things that people actually want. So it's creating products, offering service that people would actually want it. So it's not like if we build it, they would come.
Yeah.
They want to come in and then build it.
Exactly, because people can come and they won't buy,
Yeah.
so and that's a problem I think a lot of entrepreneurs, or the challenge that a lot of entrepreneurs have, that we think our product or service is the best thing since sliced bread and everybody should buy it. And I'm putting it out on the market and it has a pretty package. And then you do all of these things and you're not getting any sales. Why? So this process, if you go through it thoroughly, answers that question for you, and then it allows you to change.
All right, nice. So want to tell us a little bit about, let's say, session one that went already?
So session one, we focus on the 5 parts of design thinking. We went and did a deep dive into empathize, define, ideate, and prototype and test. And we went into a deep dive on that. I explained every aspect of it and how it will help you really make a business sustainable if you really empathize. So the first session, we really focused on empathy. How do you put yourselves in someone else's shoes that you want to be your actual ideal customer? What are they thinking? What are the challenges that they're facing? And how does your product or service actually solve that problem for them? And it really got people thinking. I saw a lot of aha moments. And then the one-on-one sessions really helped them hone it in. They got a workbook with it as well. And I just had a session with one today because we're still doing one-on-one sessions. It's continuous throughout the entire webinar series that they get the 30 minutes to 45 minutes. And sometimes it goes into an hour of a little pep talk from me and going through the workbook. And they're like, it really made them think. And that's what we want. We want you to think, because sometimes as business owners, we get caught up in the day-to-day of running a business and we don't think about the things that may be working and how to capitalize on that, and the things that may not be working and how to eliminate it from the business process.
Yeah, I think when people hear design thinking, they always think about this is dealing with creating something new. I can't use it from a business that are already operating. I'm not in business to create something new. I just want to get my business better. So I think let's demyth that, or debug that myth around design thinking is only for persons at idea stage?
No, well, it is for persons at idea stage, and it's also for people who are in the middle. You're in the middle, you're in the midst of it, and you want to make it better. You know that there's a challenge with your business and you want to make it better. And the great thing about, you know, the 5 stages of design thinking, it can be applied at any stage of your business. And every one of them, whether it be empathize, you can always go back to it. We can always do more empathy. And how we do more empathy is by asking questions. And how to ask the right questions to get the right answers. You actually could do surveys, or you can stand like a flower in the grocery if it is your product is food and beverage. And you can stand up like, you know, in the corner and watch how people interact with your product or your competitors' products so that you see the challenges that they're facing and why they're probably putting it back, and take note of that. You know, we always like to use that case study of McDonald's when they realized what the milkshake was actually, what people were actually buying milkshakes for. They saw a rise in purchasing of milkshakes, but they couldn't figure out why, because the time they were buying it was odd. People were buying milkshakes in the morning. Who buys a milkshake in the morning? So they, you know, found themselves questioning, and they actually went to observe their customers in their native spaces in a McDonald's drive-through. And then they asked them questions. They went through a process and asked them, well, what is this doing for you? And it turns out a lot of people buy milkshakes when they're on the road because they may be driving from point A to point B and want to keep themselves kind of active, their minds thinking, so they don't fall asleep behind the wheel. And it's also because they might be hungry. And anything else while you're driving, as we know, can be messy. If you're trying to eat a bagel, you might get cream cheese all over you. You're going to get crumbs all over you. It's not an ideal experience. So the milkshake fulfilled that job. They only realized that by using design thinking tools. And then they were able to pivot, and they put the actual milkshake machine towards the front of the store so that you see it first thing when you walk in.
Yeah, and I think what people need to understand about design thinking, it doesn't help you understand what people are doing, but it helps you understand why they're even doing it.
Why they're doing it, yeah.
It's how you do a deeper dive in terms of each person and asking them questions. You know, they talk about the 5 whys, going a deeper, get to the root cause of why this is happening and why is it like this, and then thinking about how do I now turn that why into an opportunity for me as an entrepreneur. So while other people might see why and stick with the why and quarrel with the other people who quarrel about why, the entrepreneur is now seeing an opportunity and saying, how could I transition that opportunity? How could I transition that problem to an opportunity and then into profit? Right. So I think that is the transition that usually goes through the type of entrepreneur.
And that information leads how you reach that target market. Because as I know now that, for example, you're going to use McDonald's again, they're going to advertise more in the morning. In the morning period, they're probably going to have ads running on social media during that window when people are looking to buy. So now you know how to advertise. Now you know what to probably package it with, your product or service, because you understand what it is that they're doing and why it is they're purchasing this item and what problem it is solving for the consumer. So, I mean, a lot of people, I think we tend to do businesses when we're just winging it. We have a product or service and we find everybody should buy it. Design thinking actually helps you make a business sustainable so that you have repeat customers and you can grow beyond even that one product or service that you're offering, because now you can add and bundle other things with it.
And sometimes you may have a product and you're questioning yourself, okay, well, why nobody in buying? Why this not working? And design thinking is not just solely about a product or service. You can design think about any part of your business, right? So you can think about, okay, if I zone in terms of my marketing strategy, I could empathize with persons and say, okay, well, why aren't you on Instagram? What social media platforms you're looking at? What's the best way to reach you? How do you choose your I'm seeing somebody. How do you choose pepper sauce? How do you choose your service provider? And going through that process about thinking and asking questions. What can I help you figure out? Okay, well, this is the marketing strategy I should actually use. So it's not solely around products or service, but it's really understanding persons. And I mean, we're looking at the outer way of it, but I mean, we've done a workshop together before around how do you look at design thinking inward. So even if you have a business, you have an organization, a corporation, I'm hearing you. You hearing me?
I'm hearing you too. I'm wondering why.
Yes, I'm not too sure.
Van Papi Gourmet Co Limited is not hearing.
You made us have to raise your volume, but I think we're hearing each other. So if we're hearing each other, we're good. Right? But yeah, so I'm thinking it's not just about outfacing how should I create a better product, how should I create a better service, but you could also think about how can I better support my staff, my team, create a better company inward as well.
Yeah, because I actually had one of the participants in the webinar series apply to HR. You know, that they're having some HR issues, and with design thinking, with the brainstorming aspect, with asking questions of your staff, with collecting that data, and what do you do with it? They're gonna implement a system that's through defining what the problem was. So they empathized, they collected the data, they realized, asked the right questions, they got the right answers, they defined what the issue is with the staff, between staff and management. And then they ideated, with the team, they ideated different solutions to those problems. And there was no crazy idea. Everything was great. And at the end of the day, they were able to prototype a system that might work, but they're willing to test it. And they're willing to be flexible with how they can adjust things on both ends, as them as management and for the staff. So, I mean, design thinking is such a fantastic tool. You know, and that's why I pulled it out of our Jumpstart repertoire to kind of be able to offer it to people and go more in depth with it. Because I think, you know, even with Jumpstart, sometimes we have so much information we're trying to share. Some things are kind of not, you know, we don't have the time to focus on. So this webinar that was offered, you know, that I offered, allowed people to kind of sit with it. And that's what they're telling me. They were able to sit with it and really think about going out and talking to customers and even benchmarking against their competitors. But also I see no one as competitors. I see it as, you know, probably later on an ally. They can do strategic alliances with these people as well and offer services together. So even that has come out of the webinar offering as we focus on what is design thinking.
So tell us a little bit about session 2 and 3.
So session 2 and 3, session 2 starts on the 5th of March as a 2-hour webinar, but before that they have their workbooks to complete. So if you want to participate, it's not too late. You can do that, and I can make the time to be flexible with you and offer you the one-on-one sessions as well. But we're going to focus on honing in and asking the right questions to get the right answers. Because a lot of times we tell people, oh, do a questionnaire, do a survey, but they don't know what to ask, you know, to really hone in on the correct answers that will guide them to what sort of products or services people want, what solutions they need for the challenges that they're facing in their day-to-day life. And the final will be to launch everything. Now we're ready. We're going to launch or relaunch your product or service and see how that feels. And that's at the end of March. So there's time. If people would like to sign up, they can come to canconnectyou.com. Of course, if they go through YBTT will channel it towards me because, you know, it's one family at the end of the day.
Yes, and well, we say the 5th of March, right? And some people still think we're in January. So 5th of March is next week.
I know. 5th of March is next week.
So yeah, so it's taking action now because it's like next week. And before you know it, we're into the 3rd session. So tell us a little bit about the structure, so what people know what they're getting or what's getting it. We talk about the one-on-ones and talk about the workbook, but can you tell us about the flow and the structure?
So before we sit to meet on the 5th, you have a one-on-one with me so that we go through, because you would get access to the recording of the past webinar or the live. And we go through the slides and you tell me if there's anything that you didn't understand, and we go through it to give you additional clarity before we start session 2, which is the asking the right questions. And you are going to sit through a 2-hour webinar. It's question and answer. It's very free flowing. So a lot of people during the first one, they were able to ask questions. Their peers were able to answer, because you're getting the opportunity to also network with a lot of other like-minded persons who are either in ideation phase or running a full-fledged business with staff. And I think that, we iron sharpens iron. So it's not hurting them to be in the same room with these people and to really get the ideas going and the blood pumping, basically. So they get the 2-hour session, you get the workbook that goes with that 2-hour session, you go do the work, you come back, right? And then we do the third session. And the cost is minimum, is $375 for each session, because there was a bulk one, there was a all package one, but that time has passed. So $375 for each one, and you're getting a lot of bonuses. They're telling me, one of them told me that the mere fact that I'm sitting with you to do the one-on-ones, they couldn't pay for that. And the information that they've gleaned from it has been so valuable. They're now rethinking and pivoting into something else besides what they were originally thinking of. Because as an additional bonus, some of the participants I realized we needed to do a stock taking profile. So we did the stock taking profile to understand what they had right now and what can they do with it to make their businesses better or to just start their businesses, depending on what stage they're at, whether it be ideation or in full-fledged business.
Right, and if you're coming into the session too, I think you said you'll get access to the recording of session 1.
Yes, you'll get access to the
and so you have nothing to lose. You can go back and play. You have a week to play, so that's what you know. You start though, right? So I'm thinking that you're moving into session 1, you're moving into session 2. You want to talk about session 3 one time?
For session 3, it really is about how do you launch. So we're going to look at where can you get funding from, additional things in terms of stakeholder engagement. How do you get people involved? If it is you're not doing social media, which one would be the best platform for you, dependent on the information that you would have collected with the data process of Empathize. So during that phase, one of the questions is, as you mentioned before, which platform do you go on, for your ideal customer? And then we go through the launch. And then there's still a bonus one-on-one with me after that, so that we make sure that everything is tied in and you are going through and starting or restarting or jump-starting your business successfully.
I mean, if I did for session 3 already?
Yes, that's the 26th of March, if my memory serves me right. Only gray hair showing these days, not the gray hair.
Right, a month and 2 days from now?
Yes.
Right, so yeah, so great. So I think we kind of covered a little bit. I don't know if there's anything that you want to get across again from the session, and that's one thing that we probably haven't mentioned.
I kind of wanted to bring home, I think a lot of people, we just came through Carnival in Trinidad, and, a lot of people talk about the rise of the all-inclusive bans, but that was in reaction to data that they collected and understanding that people wanted an all-inclusive experience. And it works. The data shows that, because these bands are sold out time and time again. And it really does. They add value every year. I see that they add a new thing, a new product, a new goodie bag. This year was sneakers with Tribe. It was a suitcase, a hand luggage piece. And on the road, they get excellent service. You're getting all the food, or a rest spot. You're getting everything. But all of those things were tested. When Tribe first started many moons ago, and Dean Akin started Tribe, it was an offshoot of Poison. And it just kind of grew and grew and grew. And he applied business principles. He was one of the first band leaders to apply business principles to something that was cultural and something that we were just used to. Let's do it this way because everybody has done it the same way every year. Dean Akin came and said, you know what? Let's do something different and see how we could monetize it and make it sustainable so that it can pay for itself. And it has grown into what we see on the road now. So a lot of things that they even offer, like Lost Tribe, actually had someone on the road with like a snow cone cart, and it was actually to fix your costumes. So they had repair on the road. So you're not losing any beads after the amount of money that you paid for your costume, but you're basically paying for the experience that is packaged for you. So how can you take those principles and using the same tools that people in Tribe would have used to create a business, for yourself that employs other people, adds value to your community, and actually is financially viable and sustainable.
And I
That's
think
what design thinking is.
where I see people usually fall short when they talk about design thinking, they get the first half done, you know. It's the second half is what they don't do, and then they're wondering why it doesn't work, right? So they do the empathy, they figure out what people want, and if you ask them what they want, they really want $1 million, right?
Yeah, of course. I want to win the lotto. I want to win the lotto tomorrow.
You figure out some ideas, you figure out what people want, you create some ideas to give them what they want, but you forget the next steps, which is you prototyping and testing, right? Creating something and actually see that they would pay for it, right? Because you don't want to go on a large scale and you start manufacturing, you start printing about 1,000 copies, you take out the flyers, all these different things, but you ain't prototype yet, you ain't test it out yet, so how do you know it works, right? Yeah. I always say if you ask people what they want everything.
Yeah.
What is feasible for you to actually give them is a different story, right?
And there's that balance that must be found between what you can deliver, and you always stick to that. This is what I can deliver, and this is what I'm offering at this price. And you test the market, and if you realize, and you start off small, and yeah, you're right. A lot of people, they stop at the prototype and test. They just go and run with the data they collected and decide to go with that, but it may not be packaged the right way. It may not be at the right price point. It may not be placed on the shelf in the right position. You can only know that if you are testing constantly and willing to tweak it. And a lot of people, the ego gets in the way as well. They stick on this one idea. And as I said at the beginning, we believe our ideas are the best things in sliced bread and everybody should buy it. But it is very humbling. I think you have to come from a place of humility to kind of accept criticism from persons that are willing to buy your product, but there's just this one thing that's a little off with it, and you have to be in a position to actually change it to suit that market or the need that they have expressed to you. Yeah. So a lot of people kind of get stuck with that as well, and I've seen that. And even I, at some point, with businesses I've been involved with, I've had to fight that battle of saying, but this is what people want. This is what we want, but they don't want it. Or they don't want it like this. They want it in a different way. Yeah. So yeah, it is challenging. It takes a lot of work. You have to want to do the work.
And then the phrase we live by at YBTT, you have to love your business, but don't be in love with it, right? Yeah. Right? So Valentine's Day was this month, so just don't be in love with your business that you're blindsided by all the faults. You don't want to change different aspects. People can say what they want, but then you have nobody buying. Yeah, right? You have to figure out the why, you have to figure out the reason, you have to figure out how do you change and meet the balance of what you want to offer, what you could offer, and what people actually want as well. Because that is where the sweet spot, that's where the product market, you're hearing those words. The product and the market fit, they have to fit together, right? They can't have here, the market here, and then they go together. Right? That's not business.
Yeah, and then, what you said there is key as well. A lot of people, okay, I find the idea and I'm going to invest all this money, and they buy a set of products and it's not moving, and at that point, you can still think your way out of that situation, because we can still take it, tweak it, and offer it in a different way. And then in your second reiteration of this business or this product, you do it the way that people suggested that you do it in the first place. But you're going to lose because they have all this product. So testing means you start small. And prototyping means as well that you start with the most viable version of your product, or as we say, the cheapest version of your product, which could be paper. You can ideate and prototype on paper. You don't need to go live, beta test it till the end. You don't need to go live just yet until you've perfected it. And I've known clients who've taken 3 to 5 years to perfect their products while they were testing the market.
Yeah, I think it's that sometimes we want things to come quick and happen as well, and we're not giving things time. You're going to have to stumble, especially if it's something new you're introducing into the market. You're going to have to stumble, you're going to have to fail, you're going to have to create the glue for the sticky notes and end up realizing this is not working, and I have to change it to, and then you end up with a big product called a sticky note that anything that we have as a piece of paper, sticky, call it a sticky note now, right? So it's all about how do you learn from failures, and that's a big part of design thinking. That's why you can start anywhere. You already have something that you're doing, and you realize, okay, well, what's wrong? And then you can do some more testing, you can do some more empathizing, you can do some more ideas, and then always go back and recreate something that has that product and market fit to it.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about it. And I think we talk about the financial side of it as well. A lot of people rush it because a lot is riding on it. A lot is riding on your success, and a lot of that has to do with sometimes this is your only means of income. But if it is your only means of income, now more than ever, you should use these tools, because then you have no money to waste. You cannot afford to waste the money. So doing this on paper is so important, especially now in this economy where we see so many businesses folding. But you are still vibrant and an entrepreneur, and I love it. But you have to do it. You should really do it. Testing it on paper first and making sure that you have the best thing to come to market, best thing to put out there, so that you don't lose the roof over your head, basically. You know, so that's what I've been seeing. I've been seeing that going on in the economy, you know, and businesses pulling out, and we really need to. There are gaps. There's so many gaps. There's so many opportunities for people to actually make businesses that serve the market, that provide solutions, and it's just there. But yeah, so you can sign up. Everyone can sign up. If it is we haven't sold it, I don't know what else will.
If you want to give them some more information about where to sign up as well.
Yes, so that will be on canconnectyou.com. You can send me a message there. So that's Can with a K, you know, because I can connect you. Haha. So, and the K for connect is with a K as well. So Can Connect You, and that's YOU.com. And of course, you can always shoot a message to YBTT, and you can message me here as well. And, you know, I will see it and get back to you as quickly as I can. And, you know, I really also wanted to talk about Jumpstart.
Yeah, it's coming.
Ready for that.
We're looking for donors. If any donors are listening, feel free to connect with us from there. So people have been calling already for when is the next cohort coming up. So it's coming soon. We just have to finalize a couple of donors and recruit it from there. So we want to make sure we can offer the best quality Jumpstart as always as possible as well.
But as a donor, what do you get in return besides the feel good of knowing that you're supporting another generation of entrepreneurs? What is the ROI for a donor?
I think we have to understand that we're all in the economy together. And the more entrepreneurs that we have, and more successful entrepreneurs that we have generating income within the economy, it's better for all. So you're not just helping an entrepreneur, you're helping an entrepreneur who comes within the economy. And those entrepreneurs that we serve are people who are at different levels. We've had persons who they have their masters and can't find a job, right? We have people who trying to make ends meet. We have necessity entrepreneurs who may be just fired as part of it. How do you get those people to become productive within the society as well, right? So, and that's really what Jumpstart is. Not just about, yes, you can start a business, but it's all as YBTT's tagline is, how do we create a generation and a future that is beneficial for all? And the way we do that is creating entrepreneurs, creating businesses that aren't just creating products to generate profit, but are creating products and services that are meeting the needs of the markets. It can be social, it can be environmental, but it can also be for profit as well. And we take all of them incorporated from there. And then, you know, we have the value add of, you know, we have a whole list of contacts with our entrepreneurs, so marketing through us, and those kind of things can happen here. The donor might be a next live that we have. But we realize that there's a lot of offerings and contributions that are out there by different corporate organizations, and how do we bring that into the entrepreneurs? Our vision in the future is to have a value chain type incubator with Jumpstart that can connect directly with a feedstock for a corporate organization as well. So yeah, so hit us up if you're interested in that as well. We do have another in-person session starting this week. Same Jumpstart template and flow. with it. We do have a specific donor for that, so we're engaging them, and you'll see a little bit more about that. So look out on Instagram, Facebook, whatever social media platform we're on. Look out for information on that. Yeah, I try to do some dances as well, but they ban me.
Right. And what I like about Jumpstart as well is that it contributes to the community so that we create job creators.
Yeah.
So we are creating people, and so many people are on the job market right now. We need more of that. Where we can
turn job seekers into job creators. I think that's
we turn in job seekers into job creators, and they on their own are creating jobs for other people who need it as well, so that we can use our skill set. I mean, I always tell people I have no idea what it means to sit still. I'm always doing something, where and it adds value in some way to our community at large. So if that's what you want to do and that's what you want to support, I think YBTT is the place for you. And of course, if you want to do more into design thinking, Can Connect You is the place for you.
All right. So, Stephanie, any last words before we close off?
I want people to understand that there are avenues of support and assistance. And I think that entrepreneurship is the way to break a poverty cycle. I think entrepreneurship is the way to add value to your community by providing, services and products that people need, and also providing job creation and turning job seekers into job creators. And design thinking is the way to make a profitable business, and you get one-on-one with me. And if you don't like my vibes now, well,
Right, so folks,
jump on.
So folks, as always, it's been real, it's been nice, it's been real nice. And if anybody can, Stephanie can. So folks, see you later.